Okay, on this next portion of the DVD, we're going to be talking about street defense techniques against a larger attacker. Okay, I want to introduce Mark. Okay, he's one of my friends and colleagues, and basically he's kindly volunteered to take part in the next portion of this DVD. Obviously, dealing with somebody who's a lot taller, okay, or a lot bigger than you, theoretically is more difficult, but actually in reality with the iron palm training that you've developed in Module 1 and the other techniques that we've talked about in Module 2, we've basically got a lot of devastating techniques that you can do. All right. The first one we're going to deal with is from a stranglehold or a grab. So we're going to break it down first, okay, show you slowly, and then I'm going to show you at real time as well. Okay. And you'll find that, again, the fact that somebody's taller shouldn't make a difference. There may be a difference in reach, but from a point of view of making your self-defense techniques work using the iron palm system, it shouldn't make any difference at all. So we're going to start off first. Okay, I'm just going to talk about the point first that we're going to go for. If you remember, when we looked at the iron palm conditioning that we did in Module 1, we looked at training the hand, striking the bag and doing the grip training that we did. And then also in the second part of that, we looked at doing the thrusting fingers into the beans and working on the grip training. So this next technique, we're going to basically target the point using the fingertips, primarily anyway. Okay. When we did the second module, we talked about striking surfaces. Again, we talked about the fingertips and the gripping method. All right. And remember that you grab with the tips of the fingers, not the pad of the fingers. Okay. And whenever you squeeze, make sure obviously it's a good, firm technique. Remember also that to deliver the technique, it's not just about strength. It's about using that breathing. Okay. The focus, the relaxation, but your intention is the biggest thing, because remember, your energy follows your thought. Okay. When we went on to the point selection, if you remember, I said about one of my favourite points that I like to go for is just off the side of the clavicle. Okay. So on mark, basically, if you look at the notch, okay, at the side of the clavicle, if you remember, we talked about the point, stating that a lot of people can take this sort of pressure, pressing straight in. All right. You can train against that, particularly when you do the iron shirt, which is another training method, okay? Also, people can take the point on top of the clavicle, all right? Because again, different people's muscle structures, etc., they might be able to take that. But on the side of the clavicle, there's no muscle. You're actually going in, around, and hooking behind the clavicle. If you remember back in Module 2, on the one where we did point selection, I demonstrated on Gary the same point, just illustrating the function, if you like, of that point. And what we're doing now is putting it into a street application. Okay. So again, remembering, straight into the point, you would press in with the fingers relatively firmly to get enough depth to come back against the collarbone. So in effect, your fingers are going in, behind the collarbone, hooking back. Okay. I'm going to break the technique down a little bit now, explain a little bit about it from both angles, and I'll explain why we do certain things, okay, within the technique, and then obviously we'll do it properly. All right. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to deal with a strangle. So if Mark strangles me, okay. So first of all, you can see he's obviously got a good grip. Okay, his hands are well and truly around my neck. All right. What I'm going to do for the minute, just to illustrate, okay, so you can see the point, I'm going to get Mark just to drop this arm, although when we do it, we're doing a two-handed strangle. So at the moment, if you just drop the line for a second, okay, he's got this other hand on here. I'm just doing this so you can see the technique. All right. And then, like I said, we'll go back to two-handed strangle shortly. If I were just to stick my fingers in that point and press and hook back, if you notice, the person will back up, okay? So Mark will back up. It's uncomfortable and he wants to move away from the pain because it's uncomfortable, all right? Even if they were grabbing and pulling you close in, which is likely to what they're going to do, okay? You press here, they'll back up. But what I want to do is I don't want him to back up, because if he just backs up, we're still in a fight, okay? He could potentially just back up and then move back in and hit me, all right? So what you want to do is, if you're already older than, you want to take advantage of that. And you might think it's a bit you're at a disadvantage, should I say, if somebody's got their hands around your neck. It doesn't have to be that way, okay? So Mark's grabbing around the neck. What you're going to do is you're going to control one arm, all right? So you're going to control with one, and the other hand will go and find the point, okay? The reason you do that is because when you press on the point, you can now control the direction he's going to go in, all right? Because otherwise, it'll back up. And I want to control where he falls, how he falls, which then will dictate how I choose to follow up. Okay? So the first primary thing is to obviously get them off your neck, all right? Because if they've got a good grip, and I know Mark has, okay, if he starts strangling me, I don't want that on my neck for very long, okay? And once he's off you, and he's on the floor, The follow-up strike is then whatever you would choose, okay? But the important thing, this technique is to move the person off you, all right? To get them away from you. Okay, you can obviously follow up with other various strikes that you can do with the palm strikes and things, but we're going to deal with the impactive side shortly. All right, I just want to give you a little illustration, obviously, with the fingertips this time. So Mark's going to grab me. So you cover one arm, other finger's going to press straight in. Okay, so that's quite uncomfortable to start with. All right, so you hook the fingers behind, pull toward you, and as you pull down, as you pull down here, this is just giving them direction. It's just guiding where they're going to fall. So you press in here, touch here, and take down. Once they're down, it's up to you where you want to go with it. You can palm strike again, okay? If you've got the arm here, you've got a nice little break going on here if you choose to do that, okay? But once they're down, you know, you basically got this technique. And just an interesting one, when we talk about you've got the break here, okay, although we haven't really covered on joint breaking and things, but just an illustration. Look at the technique. It's against my thigh, all right? This is here, and if you look, obviously I'm pressing, but if I wanted to go for a break, I wouldn't just press. What I'd do is do like you do on the iron palm training, okay? First module, first CD, relax. How we drop the hand on the iron palm bag, okay? It would be here, and it would be through, and just take the elbow right out, okay? So we're not going to necessarily cover that now. Let's just give you an explanation because that's how Mark fell. So we're going to show you again, then show you from the opposite angle, and then I'll do it, okay, at proper speed. Okay, thank you. So one more time, we'll do it with a single arm, just so you can see, okay? So from here in, you drive into the target, so you would thrust the fingers in, okay? Again, that might do it in itself, but we're going in and hook back. And as you hook back, they'll fall. Depending how they fall and where they fall, it might be that I come into here and shuffle in and palm strike here, all right? Elbow, again, is there. If it's exposed, just and take that elbow out, all right? Because let's face it, if somebody's strangling you, they may need to do some damage, okay? It's not like somebody just throwing a punch. All right, somebody's strangling you, they mean to cause you some serious harm. So that could very well be justified. Okay? Show you from the opposite angle. So again, the strangling, thrust the fingers in. It's okay, we'll do it on this side this time. Just drop this arm again. So you can see from the opposite side. This is controlling the arm. And it's controlling about, remember we talked in the points DVD, lung 5, right in the crease of the elbow. So you can place your hand there, or if you choose, you can curl your fingers into there. And that'll give them some movement as well. So this combined with this, it's your choice. Either rest your hand there, that works. Or if you want to add that extra grip, dig in and touch here. Press in, hook behind, that and that, send them down. Strike if you need to do, arm if you need to do, okay, and you've got the technique, all right? So, I'll take it back to here, and we'll do it with both hands strangling this time. Okay, so people are either going to grab this way, or they might even pull you in close, obviously to come with headbutt and something like that. Interestingly, if they grab you and strangle you, and they want to headbutt you, jabbing the fingers in here will prevent that. Okay? Okay, so that's another thing to think about. If they're grabbing you, and it's not the neck, for example, if somebody grabs you, they're going to do something, all right? They're either going to continue with the strangle and headbutt, or whatever. This works equally as well, whether they're grabbing your jacket, whether they're grabbing your neck, but I've chosen the one with the strangle because obviously it's a more serious attack. So they grab in. So grabbing it, okay, put the pressure on, put it on, okay, touch, okay, snap, okay, here. Just happened that the knee fell on the neck. Obviously a real situation.